up being death by 1,000 cuts, there might be more to come.
This week, RTÉ can now reveal the journalism conducted by Gript Media, which has uncovered the multiple raison d'etre for the hate speech legislation. For the time would soon come when hobbits would shape the fortunes of all. Once the bon vivant president returns from his taxpayer-funded trip abroad, the official signing is expected to take place in the Áras. New types of criminals will be fashioned from witty personalities, and hurt and offence is set to be defined by a funded government organisation that specialises in linguistic nuance. A special panel of experts is set to be given authority to help with the wording of the terms and interpret the levels of hurt, essentially deciding what's wrong and what's right, and, above all, with the powers to absolve guilt. It appears the state has an insatiable appetite for restrictions, both physical and existential. The lifting of the 3-mile exercise limit, 5k travel zone restriction ban had a devastating effect on the European Central Bank's confidence in the state's control of its citizens. It seems the IMF, the bond markets, the Dutch Central Bank and Brussels needed assurance that the Uni Party is playing an interfering role in the day-to-day lives of its citizens in order to maintain its category AA credit rating, outlined by S&P, Moody's, Fitch, DBRS and TE, and in line with Belgium's credit rating. But unlike the Dutch, Article 25, where the press is free, censorship can never be introduced and no security can be demanded from authors, publishers and printers. Another reason uncovered by the non-governmental media organisation Gript suggests that the housing crisis could be solved by this hate speech legislation bill. Minister for Finance Paschal Donohoe cited figures estimated by the Institute for Strategic Dialogue. The undercover Telegram reporters have calculated that at least 400 prisons would need to be built in the Greater Cork City area alone. Minister O'Donoghue has suggested that convicted communication criminals, or CCCs, could have their prison stay paid for by the selling of their assets. Speaking to the News and One, former Dublin Mayor Hazel Chu described her Kill Two Birds with the One Stone campaign, which is trending on social media. Chu suggests that victims of CCCs could engage in restorative justice if further legislation was introduced to allow victims access to the houses of their cognitively expressed prisoners. The equality of all under the law is set to take a battering, as individuals will be forced to prove their innocence rather than the burden of proof relied on by the prosecutor. Amnesty International and the Irish Council for Civil Liberties have welcomed these new laws. All members of the Dáil have voted for this draconian bill, with the exception of Peadar Tóibín. The story is gaining international traction abroad, and Angus O'Snádig claimed that he misread the vote and blamed his ongoing conjunctivitis on his mistake. Next this evening, is GA Go too expensive?